Right, hey folks, it's Faz here from Faz Lifts. Today is a viewer question on avoiding weight rebound after losing weight. First of all, thanks for making it onto my channel. If you have any questions of your own, pop them down in the comments, and the best questions I'll turn into videos. So first of all, let's summarize the problem. So essentially, what's happened is he's lost about 30 pounds of body fat. So he's lost a decent amount, and he's currently very happy with his physique. Now he's at 15% body fat, roughly 15 or slightly over. So he's at a level which should be sustainable for most people. He's not been overly fat before. He's just kind of let himself go over the years, and now, so he's at a place where this should be sustainable for him. So he's not at, say, I don't know, 8% body fat, and he's writing in saying, well, how do I maintain this? He is being realistic. So he's now worried about regaining weight, as he knows this is a common occurrence and he likes the way he looks. Perfectly reasonable request. So he'd like me to go over what he can do to avoid weight rebound, and hopefully this will be useful for you guys as well. So I've written down a few points here. First of all, let's start with the diet. Firstly, I don't know how he's actually tackled going down in body fat to begin with, but firstly, I would say start off for everyone, eat calorie-dense foods. And the first point here is make sure you're eating at maintenance. I know this sounds like an obvious thing, but far too many times people are afraid to eat. So when they have to go from a diet where they're on cutting low calories and perhaps they've had some metabolic adaptations, so their maintenance has come down a little bit, and they're on very low calories, they're actually afraid of adding the calories back in. So firstly, make sure you're at maintenance so you don't have this hunger which builds up and then forces you to just blow the diet. So make sure you're actually at maintenance so you don't have this overwhelming hunger which causes you to blow it. Next, have a structure. Make sure you have some sort of dietary structure wrapped around your job. It's no coincidence that when most people go off their diet, or most people blow the diet, is on the weekend or in the evenings when they don't have a structure to the day. So make sure you have a structure. Most people do better with a base of food items, of timing, and of quantities throughout the day. It gives them structure and predictability. Both the mind and the body thrive on structure and predictability. So have a structure, whether that's 3 or 4 meals, whether it's more, whether it's less, just ensure you have a structure which is not only wrapped around your work life, but it's also wrapped around your home life as well. So even the weekends have somewhat of a structure, because that's normally where people blow it, if they're going to blow it. Next up, ensure that you're eating very filling foods. So fruits and vegetables should be a large part of your day. They tend to be correlated with greater longevity of life and well-being. So the golden minimum appears to be 800 grams. Now, if you're in the UK, that is roughly your 10 a day. 5 a day would be 400 grams. So you're looking at about 10 a day every single day. That's a good minimum. I personally push that up higher with myself and with my clients because it makes dieting very easy. It makes weight maintenance particularly easy. Next thing is protein. Make sure you're consuming a fistful of protein at every meal. Protein is also highly satiating alongside foods which are high in fiber. And finally, just alongside that, allow yourself some flexibility. Okay, nothing should be off limits. Avoid rigid thinking when it comes to foods like chocolate, croissants, whatever. Like, they're all on the menu. Nothing should be considered to be out of bounds. So allow yourself a bit of flexibility, but within the confines of the other points I'm about to talk about. So next point is push the hard training. Ideally, the main form of training you do should be resistance training. I think everyone should be training with weights, hard and heavy. Pick a good routine, something you don't have to think about too much, and just go at it hard. Okay, have yourself some sort of structure so you don't have to think about it. You're not going into the gym every week or every day thinking, well, what should I do now? That just increases the friction necessary to have a good routine. So ensure that you have some sort of base, some sort of structure. And I'll just plug in my new ebook that I released yesterday called The Tactician. I'll link that above. You can find the link to purchase that. Next, if you can't or won't weight train, like I know some people don't have access to the gym, don't want to have access to the gym, then at least have a strong cardio regimen. So make sure you are active. Just in general, be active. Our body needs exercise for many reasons throughout the day. It needs exercise to keep moving. It needs exercise for glucose disposal, to ensure that the foods we are eating actually go to the right places. So make sure you're pushing hard training. Ideally, strength training. If not, make sure you have a robust cardio regimen. All right, next, track the important metrics. So track some small, simple, but easy to track, but useful, meaningful metrics. Firstly, your body weight. I've written there every morning. Personally, I think every morning should be reasonable for most people, but at least 3 times a week is okay. I say 3 times a week sometimes when people have an odd relationship with the scale, like if they react to every fluctuation. So one day the weight is down, they go, oh crap. One day the weight is up, they go, yes, or vice versa, whatever. If you have that kind of relationship with the scale where you respond every morning to the weight on the scale rather than seeing it as just a data metric, then maybe perhaps track your body weight 3 times a week and use a weekly average. I would always use a weekly average. So one important metric is track your body weight, all right? That's an important metric. Now, in terms of your calories, I would say it's not necessary to track your calories. I don't personally track calories. It can help, but conversely, it can also harm. And I'll do a separate video on that if there's interest on the reasons why I don't personally track, and I haven't tracked for a couple of years. However, body weight I would consider to be a meaningful metric and one which is useful. Next thing is track your strength increases in the gym and always aim to get stronger. And similar to the previous slide, if you're not tracking your strength increases, ensure that you are at least tracking your cardio and aim to get better at doing cardio. Next thing is hire someone. Now, no coach has the special sauce to keep you lean. Like, I've hired coaches in the past and none of them have provided me with anything which is outlandishly awesome. Now, what they are good at doing is providing you with objectivity and accountability. And when you're dieting, those are the first 2 things to go out of the window when you are hungry for a prolonged period of time, because your mind plays tricks on you. For those of you who watch my deload brain fog video, you'll know that I am aware of these things and they do happen because I've coached many people. So a good coach will provide you with objectivity and accountability. That's why you hire someone. So if you've lost a bunch of weight, and let's assume you've done it on your own, even if it's just to steady the ship for a few months, hire someone, get somebody on board. I have ways for you to work with me. There are links in the description. I have some affordable ways for you to work with me. I would recommend hiring someone for that objectivity, for that accountability. They might not teach you even anything new that you don't already know or you haven't got from their materials which they give out, but what they do give you is that hand-to-hand objectivity and accountability, which is very, very valuable. And that's what did it for me when I was competing. My last competition that I did for bodybuilding, on getting down to even stage lean, there wasn't anything new or original in those macros, wasn't even anything that useful, but all it did was provide accountability to someone at the end of every week to make sure that I stuck to my plan. And that is invaluable in getting you to your goals. All right, next up, ensure you've got access to good food. So ensure that at home you keep fruits, vegetables, as well as high protein foods on hand, right? That's the first thing. Ensure you've got a steady supply of good foods which are going to keep you highly satiated and which aren't that many calories. And the types of foods that I talked about in the first slide. And next, perhaps consider not keeping those really gorgeous snack items that you want to eat in your cupboard all week, right? So if you've got that bar of chocolate in your cupboard all week, and you know full well that you might want to have it, say, Saturday night, is there really a point in having it there Monday morning? It's just going to be there, screaming at you to be eaten all week. Perhaps just modify your physical environment in your favor, right? Make it work for you rather than work against you. So a couple of things there. Have the foods that you need to be eating on hand, and perhaps consider the foods that you eat more sparingly. Just leave them at the store and get them when you need them in the amounts that you need. All right, folks. So closing thoughts. There really are no secrets at this point in the game. I mean, if you've already lost weight, well, congratulations. You already know a calorie deficit works. You've done it with some sort of method. Now, there are more and less sustainable methods, sure, but then I've outlined quite a few things in this video alone, and you'll see a lot of these things in the videos that I release on my YouTube, and hints and tips on how to create your own sustainable habits. Next thing is set up your environment to be as conducive to your goals as possible. So that is not only home life, but also work, social activities, things like that. Thirdly, track some simple and meaningful metrics to stay objective. Body weight is highly useful. Strength increases are highly useful. And finally, hire someone. They might not give you that special sauce, but what they will give you is accountability and objectivity while you navigate through potentially those first few months after a diet, which is when most people, statistically speaking, regain the weight. All right, folks, hopefully that was useful. If you found that useful and you've made it this far into the video, great. Go ahead and subscribe, hit like, and always remember, if you don't hit subscribe, I personally know who your gym owner is, and I'll be telling them to ban you from the gym. All right, take it easy.